What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Connor O'Reilly with Team OTB Discs, and today we have a new guest, but probably a familiar face for a lot of you guys. Corey Ellis, European Open champion and a lover of woods golf. We're here in Shelton Springs, Washington, getting ready for a Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite event. Corey, I feel like one of the reasons you probably love the woods is your compact three-step footwork just works on any kind of tee you can throw at you, and you're also good at just committing to straight shots. What is it really that excites you about playing in the woods?
I've played in the woods a lot growing up, so I really like getting to throw buzzes and fairway drivers and putters in the woods. So yeah, that's really what it is, hitting those lines and watching the disc fly.
We definitely don't get enough slow disc shot shaping on the Pro Tour, so it's a nice change of pace out here at Shelton Springs. Let's check it out. You want to take the even hole breakdowns, Corey?
Yeah, that works.
All right, we're rolling whenever you're ready. Oh, sorry, I meant odd.
Well, you already said even.
Okay,
man.
you're
Let's
right.
go.
I didn't. We got a couple changes to this year's Shelton Springs layout. Got rid of old hole 1. Now we're sitting on the tee of new 1, which used to be hole 2. It's a gap shot moving out to the left. They've brought the out of bounds in on the long side, maybe only circle's edge deep of the basket. So the 9-speed might be a little bit risky, though it does give you that gap commitment and the fade that you need. I'm gonna go with the mid-range with the crux. We do have right to left wind, which should help fade the disc out there. Got to beat the mandatory, hit the tight gap, and then go from there.
Looks pretty good to me.
Is there OB deep?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. That might be a little low, but
It might be a little straight.
we'll see how that goes.
I'm gonna try a Buzz OS.
I think it's the right disc. I just need some height on it.
I kind of like it a little lower because I threw some high yesterday and they kind of find the OB long,
Okay.
especially with that right to left.
Oh yeah, better angle set there from Corey.
That looked pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I like that. All right, you guys took it OB. I got to play a little more angle on that shot, but I like the disc selection. Pretty raging wind setup today.
This hole is definitely tricky with this wind. Makes for a tough green. Ooh.
Yeah, we got like 20 miles per hour with some strong gusts right now, you guys. I think it's gonna be a wet this weekend, but we'll see. We'll see how the wind holds up.
Yeah, hopefully. I'd rather be in the rain than in the wind.
Yeah.
Okay guys, hole 2, 965 feet, par 5. I think this one could be eagled, but you have to clear some hazard first, and you have OB that go up the right side all the way up to the wood line. So it's a demanding tee shot, especially with this tailwind. I think that'll do it though.
That's a force there?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's got to be good.
Tailwind definitely makes this hole very attackable. In a ripping headwind of the same severity, you might see some players play this one a little bit more for just the easy birdie. I'm gonna go nuke, try to match Corey's line there. Ooh,
A little short.
a little low, found the hazard. Okay, just short, but yellow means hazard, so you take a stroke, but you play it where it lies. Try to hyzer flip DD3 into the gap. Uh-oh. All right, that's way left. Let the undulating footing kind of get me there, but we'll try to scramble for par. We'll let Corey put in a bid on this nuke. No, I'm just kidding.
This is a nice one. It feels like
Yeah.
crystal plastic.
Yeah, it was good. You want to know where an ideal drive will land? It's right here.
Yeah, I kind of like this one. Definitely where you want to be. Got a chance to attack for 3. Throw an old beat up force. That ain't gonna do it. But still get a birdie.
Okay, pretty tough little spot over here. Not sure what I want to do, but I'm gonna try to save a par. A fancy little forehand roller. Just gotta get over this log. Oh, well, we're looking at the basket, Lee.
Long putt. All right, just a little flex zone here. Yep.
Oh yeah. Definitely a softer side for the par 5, but I feel like that hazard's well placed where it'll punish those drives that are a little off.
Yeah, just a little short and you're really punished.
Definitely a course you're gonna have to do some scrambling.
Oh. Oh yeah. There we go.
Corey's showing that you can make a mistake somewhere on the hole as long as you don't go out of bounds and still birdie.
That's right. You can still get that birdie.
Sheldon Springs is definitely a course that has a lot of left to right moving shapes, and whether you like to throw the forehand or the late turning backhand, there's some options. I prefer the forehand here on hole 3, 330 feet. Straight gap, a little bit of finish off to the right at the end. I'm going with the Raptor. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Can't miss the gaps though, that's the issue.
I think when a lot of people play in the woods, they don't think about if you just threw a dead straight shot, where you would be. Like in this case, it would put you probably like 40 feet. If you barely got any turn at all, you'd be in the circle. So that's what I'm gonna try to do.
Yeah, that's amazing advice for playing in the woods, honestly, you guys. It's advice that I like to give too, so I should probably listen to my own advice, and that's a beautiful shot.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of times design tries to make you feel like you got to park everything, but throwing straight shots, giving yourself options is always going to play regardless of where you're at. I'll try to correct on the forehand, but if not, Corey might have me trying the backhand tomorrow.
That's great.
Yeah, that one worked a little better.
Yep. That's a squirrel, just a little baby squirrel. Look how small his tail is.
Corey giving us some wildlife.
Little baby squirrel.
Munching on the pine cone.
Smallest tail I've ever seen on a squirrel.
I know, I thought he was a chipmunk at first, but just a little fella trying to get big.
Cute little guy. This place especially, I think it goes for most wooded golf, but getting off the tee is so crucial.
Yep.
Because if you just barely miss your line, you can be in a world of hurt.
Yeah, so much of woods is just maintaining your fairway position and avoiding that stress that makes you feel like you got to be a hero on the next hole or whatever it might be.
Okay, hole 4, 615 feet, par 4. This is a classic wooded par 4, I feel like. You have a nice fairway off the tee, but then once you get up there, it's kind of like you got to find your own way. So it's a little scrambly on the second shot, but it's a nice tee shot.
Yeah, I feel like this one in the past really wanted you to get a little bit more right, but now they've opened up some space for the spectators over there on the left, and it seems like if you can push that OB straight, it's the best way to play it. But if you do throw the traditional shot that moves a little bit right, like Corey mentioned, there's a lot of gaps, none of them are huge. I'm gonna take MD3, just try to get it out towards that out of bounds straight ahead.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, me and Corey hanging out over there in a similar spot. Let's see what kind of lines we have in.
I'll let this guy get out of the way.
Yeah. I don't know, I don't really love those branches though. I was kind of trying to set myself up for this, but now that I see it, I'm like, that's kind of sketchy.
Yeah. From here, I was in the same spot yesterday, and I just threw like stable
little
Luna
hyzer, yeah.
on the hyzer and just like kind of let it. It worked out.
Stand up. Yeah.
From literally not much different, and it's so incredibly.
Yeah.
Such a different shot. I think I'm gonna try like a flex shot, even though it's a little sketchy with the road. I feel like that's the shot. So I'm gonna go flex swarm. That ain't it. That's OB. And I killed them on the tee. Let's try again. That's a little better.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, I feel like Corey had a couple options there, but took the biggest gap, which I think a lot of times in the woods is going to be advantageous over time. I got a couple options. None of them are great necessarily. But I'm going to try for this Envy hyzer. There's these 3 trees that I really got to slip past. But other than that, the gap's not too small.
Oh,
and there's one of them right there.
That was parked if it missed that last one.
Yeah. All right, I think I'm going to switch back to that fairway driver play next time here, but wanted to try the mid-range, see if it got me to a good spot.
All right, these putts are the money makers right here. You can get these to drop consistently, make some money. That ain't it. No money for me.
There is one true lane here, but like Corey mentioned, as soon as you're off what I call the foam booth on some of these tees, you really got to improvise.
Yep.
And that's why your disc selection on the tee is so important out here. Yeah, I kind of try to play the backside the whole way. I feel like that's the biggest.
Yeah, that's what I do too. It's just
gap.
Still trying to get it.
Yeah.
There is.
I usually end up in that bush and just kind of.
Yeah.
Hole 5, par 3, sets up very similar to hole 1, though it's a little bit different in the nuance. You kind of have to stretch your hyzer to the deep side and then finish there, but I feel like you can play about the same disc, maybe on a flatter angle. I'm gonna go back to that crux. I like to play the backside gap. A lot of players kind of just try to play a hyzer and weave through the middle trees because that's the way to park it, but like Corey mentioned on the last hole, giving yourself the biggest opportunity and flying the biggest gap can be very advantageous in the woods. I like that. I should be probably in the little manicured bush back there, but if that's where I end up putting every time, I'm happy.
I like that one. I'm gonna try to do the same thing. Just match his line. That ain't it. Nope. Could try a zone. That should be putting every time, so
yep.
Kind of like that.
I feel like they did my man Albert wrong with these Zuka photos. He had to have the worst allergies ever that day or something.
I think it's important before, especially in the woods, to warm up a straddle putt while you're warming up before your round, because you're always hemmed up on a tree at some point.
More great advice from Corey. That's something I definitely make myself do, and I feel like there's days where I don't, and then I get to a straddle putt and I'm like, wow, you haven't thrown a straddle putt today. And like, part of you is like, shut up brain, but the other part of you is like, yeah, you know, you should have warmed up better. All right, I got this little window, so I'm gonna get down to a knee, open it up. Oh, I gotta weight this wind off though. So the branch, that's crazy how much that branch moves. Oh,
that was a good looking putt.
Wanted it. And that branch came over like a whole 3 feet right there. A lot of different lanes coming in here, but it's hard to pick exactly when you want that hyzer to dump out. And that's why I just like going to the backside here. It's so big.
Yeah, and just always having a putt is important.
Yep.
Par 3, 445. You gotta go out the gap and try not to hyzer a little early because there's a little OB patch, or a big OB patch. And just throw it straight. It's right there in front of you. Just asking to be birdied. I'm gonna throw Athena.
Great line.
Thank you.
Yeah, that right to left kind of makes this one a little bit tougher. Smacks the disc out of the air.
Kind of makes it want to hyzer out into that OB a little early too.
Yep. I'm going PD. Looking for that same type of line as Corey, but just going a little bit faster to fight the wind and give me that 440 distance. That PD has some really solid stability and even found its way back to left edge. Who knows? Looked like some good ground play.
I'm gonna try again with a beat up Raptor. Maybe a little faster disc will help with that distance, like he said. I like that one.
Oh yeah.
Just kind of worried about that disc's stability at the end, letting it hyzer towards that OB. All right, we came up a little short. Maybe just a little height with that crosswind would help us get the distance. See if we can make the putt anyway. Not like that.
I feel like we played the golfer's miss. You know, he kept it on the line we wanted. Long opportunity, but not much danger. Oh yeah, that crosswind just picking him up at the end there.
Yeah, it's a tough putt with this wind. These are the testers here.
Yeah, these are good ones to practice, especially in this wind.
Pretty strong headwind, 28 footer. It's like all year on tour, right?
Yeah, we've had pretty historically windy spring. I think we had like the El Nino or whatever every couple of years where it like stacks up and just has super dry, heavy winds. It feels like a meme at this point, you know?
Yeah, for real.
Hole 7 finds us on a different tee than last year, and as a par 3 now, 490 feet, it's gonna be a really tough get. You really just wanna make sure to take a par here, and if you can get a highlight birdie, that'd be awesome. Big turning shot for a right-hand player, getting under that low ceiling and flattening out is gonna play well. I'm gonna take a roller and just see if I can give myself a cheeky bit at it. This left to right wind should help kind of shove the disc over at the end. I just gotta make sure to come out with the right width. Oh, there's a shove. Missed the Mando by a mile. That's why you don't throw rollers and crosswinds, you guys.
I think the roller's the play for a righty, honestly.
Yeah, you
just gotta make sure you're playing it wide because
Yeah.
that crosswind is wicked right now.
Wow.
Wow, it really is taking it, huh?
Also, we'll show you guys the Mando tree they chose when we get down there, but I think this is the poster child for why we need like a post to be a Mando in our game, because the tree goes like this at the bottom, and it's like, it's kind of hard to tell like if you really made the Mando or not.
For sure. I
did
wouldn't
put
be
in
able to tell from mine.
Yeah, yours was close enough where it's really hard to tell. I'm going roller rye, put this one in just for this hole, so played about 45 degrees left this time.
That's money. Maybe.
If that can beat some trees. Either way, though, that's very safe.
But that's a par every time from that shot. I'm going to try a more stable Zeus. The last one was a Zeus too, but it's really beat up. This one's still beat up, but hopefully it fights that wind a little better. Nope.
Yeah, I think come tourney time, I don't think we're going to have this exact wind, so it should be a little easier for us to place these and attack the hole. All right, you guys, take a look at this Mando tree. You can't really see because the hill from the tee, but that thing is like the Dr. Seuss pine, and that's the one we chose? Come on.
I mean, it's a sick tree, though.
It's a cool tree, absolutely. Make Mando's poles.
Pretty sure you could land a roller here pretty consistently. So we're going to try this up shot. Let's throw one of these new collab Lunas. Have you thrown these yet, Connor?
I haven't.
They're nice and stable. That's not how you do it, but that'll work.
Yes, sir.
Not the intended shot, we'll say that. Get over there.
Also kind of match Corey, missed left. Yeah, this one's going to be really about just trying to take your par.
Yeah, get a 3. Nice putt.
I think it's important when you're putting, don't putt for a par save, putt for a good stroke. The more you do that, the less you put these kind of unnecessary pressures that you're going to feel, obviously, but it's all about tricking yourself in a game like this.
Confidence is key on the putting green. All right, so 315, it's just dead straight in front of you. Classic woods hole, throw it straight. There's a little left side gap that I think some people may try to throw forehand through. I'm gonna try a late turning backhand up that gap. Well, I got that little limb and kind of kicked it nose up.
Kiss right? Oh.
Maybe one notch less stable.
I really want to go Luna here, but it feels a little long. I prefer to throw the Luna on a fan grip, so I'm kind of debating on hitting the Envy on a power grip. So I'm going to try Envy. Just jam it at the basket, maybe a touch, a turn. I just needed like 1 degree more turn, but that actually...
That's a putt for sure.
Worked out well. I'll take that all day.
That's a good shot. I'm gonna try this left side again. It's actually wider, at least off the tee.
Yeah, definitely. And really, when you look at it, once you beat this first tree, there's so much space.
I think that'll do it. Go in.
Come on.
Go in. Oh!
That was money. All right, try one more with the Luna, just for the fun. Oh, here's that left gap. Yeah, I think it's a little out of range for the fan grip on this one.
Tricky. Got to go through some limbs. You'll have these in the woods, though. It's good to practice these. Oh, the line was good.
Give y'all a look at Corey's perspective here.
Yeah, a little Annie through there.
Yep. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with the Envy here. If I throw it too strong and long, then I'm just fine with that.
Yeah, that was a good shot.
All right, so Corey's gonna break down to you guys why exactly he's choosing the gap that he's choosing.
So a lot of times in the woods.
I guess that's our,
So this is the tee pad dead straight here. So this is his Envy shot. And I'm taking this gap. If you see here, it's actually wider than this initial gap here. So if you just can beat that first gap and you have a late turning backhand, it's gonna finish nicely like you saw with the Buzz SS.
Yeah, I feel like on the line Corey's choosing, there's kind of that initial tree off the gap, and then there's this last pine right here before the green, but everything in between that definitely gives a lot more space as long as you can beat those. And that's why it's good sometimes to look back at a tee box. It sometimes will show you something that you wouldn't see just looking forward.
Absolutely.
Sheldon Springs is mainly in the woods, but there is a little bit of mixture of playing along this cleared out like telephone wire area. And this one is a true dichotomous hole. You play out of the gap into the open, then back into the gap into the woods. There's a hazard area to avoid on that approach, as well as you can see where those white flags are. That's out of bounds on the left side. Raging headwind definitely makes this one a little bit trickier. You'll see a lot of forehands or turning backhands. I'm gonna go with the forehand rive. Make sure to come out on hyzer and just be smooth. Don't try to overpower it into the headwind.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
There we go.
That's all you're looking for there. Just get out of the gap, finish to the right, however you can do it. I'm gonna throw a brand new Tour Series Buzz. These are actually really stable buzzes, so if you guys are into that, go get you some. A little too much turn, but I'm out the gap and to the right, so I'll have something.
Step one complete.
So we made it out the gap. We got, oh, I don't know, how far do you think this is, Connor?
Probably only like 260, 70, yeah.
Yeah, into a headwind coming right down at me. So as it starts to turn, it's gonna like kind of push it. So you gotta try to keep it low because it's gonna wanna lift and push to the right as soon as it hyzers. Just lifted right out of my hand, but it's gonna work. Yep.
Oh yeah. I got maybe 20, 30 feet less. I'm gonna play pretty much the same shot with the Justice.
That lift is no joke.
There's that one big pine to beat, and I caught that one, but it's a putt.
I guess we forgot to mention the hazard on this though.
Yeah, I mentioned it on the tee, but
Okay,
there's a good look. You guys can see there's like a heart-shaped hazard right here as you approach. Very well marked with your little warning sign, so definitely don't want to be in there.
It makes it really tricky if you hit something early off the tee and you gotta clear this hazard. This makes it a tough par save if you hit early.
I remember they just showed the highlight on the DGPT Instagram when AB threw his Luna kind of MTA style to save. But it takes a big risk to try to save birdie from way back there. All right, pretty strong left to right wind here. Should hold my putt straight. Ooh. And it did. Got to set a little bit more angle on that one.
That's a tough putt though.
Yeah. That was one. I feel like I threw a good drive, good upshot. Just caught the last big tree to beat right here. And that's just how it goes in the woods sometimes. You got to play good and get a little lucky. Oh, you got it.
All right.
All right, you guys, that's going to be it for the front nine. If you look at the description below, it'll have all the ways to support Corey and myself. So go check those out. And don't forget to head over to OTB Discs YouTube channel for the back nine. Huge thanks to Corey for joining us for the first time on the channel. It's awesome to have you here.
Thanks for having me, man. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe.
That's right. Smash it.